Welcome back from break, gentlemen. This is module 2. Hopefully you all found the bathroom. Shouldn't be too difficult. Right down the hallway. You have the password. Shouldn't be hard. What we're fit to jump into is how to create a secure user account. What that is going to encompass is the passwords as well as privileges. We're just going to recap really bit what we talked about before the break. We installed the new hard drive into our laptops. We went ahead and put the Windows 7 operating system onto the computer. We ran through a couple of things such as customization, personalization, changing the backgrounds, changing some of the default sounds that comes on the machine. Then we dove into some of the applications such as Paint, Notepad, Calculator. Got to play around with it a bit. What we're about to do now is, again, go ahead, create a user account. We're going to have it for multiple users on the computer. We're going to create a password for each account so that, say there's 2 accounts on my computer, one is for my sister, maybe I shouldn't have access to her profile, I don't have her password, I cannot get in there, vice versa. Then we're going to talk about user privileges. I personally would not want my sister installing anything on my computer. She will destroy it. So we're going to go ahead and assign privileges so that she's able to do all of her schoolwork without making any dramatic changes to the system. Could anybody tell me, based off of your circumstances, why you would want different user accounts in your machine?
Security.
Security.
Kind of like you just said, I don't want somebody looking at my information or my files and stuff.
So your privacy, yes. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. So if everybody would like to follow along on their computer, very first thing to find it, we've got to play around with the mouse, so you should be able to get around pretty easily. We're going to come down to the start button. We're going to click it. Let me know if you have any issues along the way so that I can stop by and I can help you out. We're going to come on over to Control Panel. But we're going to work our way up to the green text that says User Accounts and Family Safety. We're going to... Yes, sir?
My image doesn't look like yours.
Great question. So if you see right up here where it says View By, and it's listed as category, if you click that and go ahead and check the category button, everybody's page will go ahead and look like this. So now that you're there, is everyone there?
Yeah, I had the same problem, Nikki.
Great job. Now that you're there, you can go ahead and click the green text. This is going to bring up different controls such as your user accounts, your parental controls, different things which we'll get into in a later module. Right now what we're going to want to do is jump into the user accounts. So we're going to click the green text again. This is going to bring us up to where we want to be. It tells us right now we're in the student, which is an administrator account. And what we're going to want to do is manage another account. This is where we're going to go to create the other user accounts. So you're going to see the accounts that are on here. You're going to see the account that we're logged into. And then we're going to see a guest account. I would recommend disabling the guest account. If you're going to have anyone else use your computer, just create them their own account so that the guest account is no longer used. So we're going to scroll down to create a new account. And we're going to click that. It's going to prompt us to type a name for the account. So go ahead, we can all put in whatever name we would like. And we can go ahead and click Create Account. Yes, sir.
Suppose there was a standard user named Bob, and you tried to put in Bob as a user. Can you do that? Can you have 2 Bobs?
You cannot. What you would want to do is find a way to differentiate the 2 files. So you can say put Bob number 1 or Bob number 2, Bob last name. Go ahead and do that so that the 2 counts are separate. Because it's going to create files for that account. And if you have 2 accounts named Bob, then you have two files that are looking at, I don't know which Bob to go to. So Windows is not going to allow you to do that. So if we want to go even deeper, we have our account. Bob is now a standard user. What we're going to want to do is create a password for it. Because right now, anyone can just log in and view all of Bob's files. So to do that, we're going to go up to Bob, highlight him. We're going to click him one time. We're going to scroll over to change password. So it's now going to prompt us for a new password. Quick question to the class. Could you all give me some parameters of a secure password?
Well, that nobody else knows.
That's the most important one.
Length?
Length,
Special characters?
special characters,
Upper and lowercase?
upper and lowercase,
Numbers.
numbers. That's great. So, what I'm going to have you all do, if you don't mind, I'm going to erase this. Does everyone have it? I'll put it back up during break. Okay. We're going to create our own password. And you all set the parameters or length. So I'll mark it. Uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and can anyone tell me the last one? There was one more,
Special characters.
special characters.
What do you mean by special characters?
So what I mean by that is you have your different keys such as exclamation point, your pound sign, different keys like that. Those are your special characters. So another thing you'd like to do, because I know you're looking at all this and you're like, wow, this is going to be hard to remember, having to put in special characters including numbers. Can anyone give me an example of a phrase? I'm going to make it easy for you to remember your password. Don't give me your actual password, but a phrase from your favorite movie or music.
Luke, I am your father.
So Luke, I am your father.
Luke. In the forest.
So this right here, this is his favorite movie. Star Wars, this is the quote that he remembers most. This is a long password, but it's not difficult to crack. As you see, I only have 2 capital letters in here so far, so it meets 2 of the parameters, uppercase and lowercase. But what we can do is come in here and make it secure. Can anyone give me an example of a character I can take out and replace?
Replace the A with an at.
So you can replace the A with an at symbol. So you can just come in here, replace that, and you can do that all the way through. So now you have some special characters in there. Another example, anywhere that you have things such as an E, you can make them capitalized and you can reverse them. So you can come in here, add a 3. So now you have numbers, you have special characters, uppercase and lowercase, and it is a lengthy password. This will allow you to create a password that is harder for someone to guess. Yes, sir?
I'm sorry to interrupt. Is there a specific length that it should be?
Yes. So I know you all work in some pretty nice places. Do you all have any specific parameters as far as length for your jobs?
8 to 16.
8 to 16 characters, that's a good one. So that is a good one. Does that help you out?
That's
Okay. Another good thing you'd like to look at is changing your password about every 30 to 60 days. Reason being, if someone has access to your file, they can guess at your password as long as they like. It may take them 2-3 years, but eventually they will get into it. But if you change your password often, it makes it difficult for them to actually crack your password and get into your machine. So what I would like you all to do is go ahead and create a password, a secure one between 8 and 16 characters, including uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and special characters. you do want to put in the same password, that would be very helpful. You also have this box up here that says password hint. If for some reason you forget your password, you can create a hint to remind you of it. So let's say, for example, Luke Skywalker, where Darth Vader says, "Luke, I'm your father." Instead of putting Star Wars up there so that whoever's trying to get into your account can remember this, they can think about it, associate it with something different, like another movie that the actor played in, so that they're not thinking about Star Wars, they're thinking about that movie. But when you look at his name, you know exactly what your password is. That will help out, but it is not mandatory. Once you have the password, you'll click Create Password, and you are now password protected. So every time you log in, it's going to prompt the user for the password. The next thing we're going to get into is privileges for the account. Can anyone tell me why you would not want someone to have, say, administrative privileges to a computer?
With access to program files that you don't want them to.
Exactly. They can access the files you do not want them to. They can go in, accidentally delete one file that can cause a lot of damage to your system. So by making them what's called a standard user, you can prevent this. Now, if we decided the accounts that we just created, well, we think that Bob should be an administrator. He's done with his school. He knows everything about computers. We want to give him the ability to install programs such as Microsoft Office and Word, so that we can go in there and do these great things. So he can install video games if we want to play them. So to do that, what we're going to do is come up here to change the account type. We're going to click on that. Now, it's going to ask us what type of user would you like to create. So we're going to go ahead and change it to administrator. And as you see, administrators have complete access to the computer and can make any desired change. So we're going to go ahead and make, in my case, Bob an administrator. And we're going to click Change Account Type. And that is it. As you see up here, Bob is now an administrator and he is password protected. You have now made a secure account that you can log into and you can make changes. Is there any questions? Okay. Jump back over to our PowerPoint slide. So, what we talked about today, we went ahead and we created user accounts. We created secure passwords using the parameters that were defined. And we assigned user privileges to the account. What I would like you all to do is go ahead and go through, make one account as an administrator and one account as a standard user. I'm going to walk by. If you have any issues or questions, feel free to let me know. And this will be the end of this module. Next module, we will get into actually the firewall of Windows and installing updates. So go ahead and work on this, and I'm walking around to help you. It's a nice image. I like the image as well.
What's the difference between privileges and permissions? I heard talk about permissions.
So, privileges and permissions has a question about what the difference is. So, a permission is what you're allowed to do. Privileges is what someone allows you to do. So, if you have access to, say, install something, you're probably an administrator. Say that you are a standard account and then you want to install something. Well, you can, but you have to have permission from it. So I would come in and say log in behind you and enable you to make the changes. Does that answer your question? Well, you jumped the gun. You got a couple accounts. It's great.
A question?
Yes.
This, I don't like this picture whatsoever. Is there a way to change that?
Oh yes, I'll go ahead and jump on my computer so everyone can see. Corey has a question. He does not like the image. This is something that is great. If you notice, whenever you create your account, probably all of the user accounts are given a different image. In my case, it looks to be marbles. So you can simply come here because you do not like the image. I saw a couple people had pictures of planets, some people had cars. You can easily come in here and change it by clicking the change the picture button.
Oh.
Now this gives us a ton of icons, and what we can even do is you can come down to browse for more pictures. If you want your image on there, which I wouldn't recommend because now they know whose account it is just by looking at it, you can go ahead and put up a picture of yours so that your whole family can see, okay, this is Bob's account. We're not going to touch it because you might be a junior. And you and your dad might just put the name up and underscore and that's it. So you're able to differentiate the pictures. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
How are you doing? A jellyfish. They are password protected, I see. Has the password come on? A sunflower. That's nice.
Do I have a, if I delete this account and I have important stuff on it, do I lose it?
Yes, if you click delete the account, what it's going to do is prompt you that there are files. You do have the option. You can keep these files on the computer or you can remove them as whole. So if you decided you did not like Bob as an administrator and you don't want Bob ever on this computer again, what you can do is come in here, delete the account. And it's going to prompt you before you delete Bob's account. Windows can automatically save the contents of Bob's desktop and documents, favorites, music, etc. Or you can go ahead and remove them. So if you want to delete all his files because he'll never be on the computer again, you don't want to go through his files, you can just go ahead and click delete files and you can delete the account. And as we see, Bob is no longer on our user accounts. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? Yes, sir.
I see here we're an administrator account. If we were to change our account type to student and then want to go back to being an administrator again, would we be able to do that?
So, say for example here, we're in student and he's an administrator. If we create a standard account, say Bob, we put him down to a standard account and we log in as standard, Bob does not have access to change his account to administrator. You have to log in as another administrator, which in this case student, so that you can change Bob back to an administrator. So you would have to have someone with administrator privileges to make those changes.
And that goes for changing passwords as well?
Yes.
I mean, I couldn't change somebody else's
No.
password if I'm a
You
regular?
cannot change someone else's password, you have to change yours. Now, as an administrator, you can come in, and if a standard user is locked out, you can change it. You can also, there's other things we'll get into in a later module, about backing up our password onto, say, thumb drives, so that if we ever forget our password, we can plug in the USB, and it'll unlock the account for us. Does that answer your questions?
It does, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay, you all seem to have a grasp on creating accounts, passwords, and assigning privileges. You can go ahead and take a 15-minute break. I will see you back after the break and we'll go ahead and get into module 3.